All right, everybody, welcome once again to the Comic Wrestling Podcast. This is another episode of The Wrestling Ring. I'm Deadly Dave.
I'm the wild card, Ace Williams.
Today we're going to talk about WWF/WWE from 2002. Very transitional year for the company.
I binge watched it a week ago, and I don't remember much, so as we actually... Your boy took notes on his phone, so give me a minute and I'll get them some bitches out, actually, because I do have some notes. I didn't take the notes. There was a website. Websites.
You gotta love the internet.
I love it. So, but I did this kind of was just sprawled out of nowhere, the idea to do this review.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to watch the 2002.
And the more I thought about it, there is a lot going on in 2002. There really is.
There was a shit ton, because I stopped watching it. End of 01. Now, I wouldn't even say the end of 01. Somewhere in 01. Because I was not there for the NWO to come in. I do remember them buying WCW. I remember like that as a kid, viewing that.
Yep. And
seeing the Vince McMahon with, in this, whatever. But it was cool because, like I said, I didn't see a lot of it. To watch all of it back to 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 back was really cool. And then through that, I gotta grab it actually, that Melbourne tour.
Yeah.
WWE DVD that you've never seen.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Takes place in October, I believe.
Okay.
So right
around No Mercy time then.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Remind me, and I will find that because I think I put it away. But yeah, that's how this roller coaster's getting going. And let's hope to God we don't go off the tracks on a roller coaster. Could you imagine going through like 16 loop-de-loops and fucking falling through one of them?
But before we get going, not that they'll hear this, but today is my parents' wedding anniversary. 48 years they've been together.
48. It's a long time. Jesus.
They were together 9 years before I was born.
I was gonna say like a year before you were born, because you're like 47. 47 and a half. No, that's a long time. The only other... I know there's a lot of other people out there, but the only other people that I know personally that have made it that long or 2 years longer were my grandparents.
Yep.
So, kudos to Dragons.
Yeah, I just want... They'll never listen to it, but I just...
You could show them that. The whole beginning up to that moment, because we haven't fucking started swearing yet. You pussy-ass motherfuckers! And that's where Mom and Pop's Dragon stopped listening. So, there's that.
I see you got some new Legos.
I did, yeah. I mean, I'll talk about these a little bit more on the comic shop, which we'll be doing... It doesn't matter. We'll be doing it. These aren't like in any specific date-to-date order. But I'll talk a little bit more in detail. But yeah, I bought the new Hulkbuster. It's pretty big. It's kind of badass. I like it. That's all I'm going to say about that for now. The rest of these, I've had these. There's nothing new there. I haven't actually gotten any new ones in a while. It's pretty much... Yeah, that's it. I haven't bought any new ones in like a long time. That's like the first one I've bought in quite some time. I am excited to announce that after like 2 months of not being able to get that game I was telling you about way back when, I don't know if it's been 2 months, that BioShock game at Walmart a couple months ago maybe at some point. It's recorded on here. Went to Walmart, tried to get this game. Some asshole employee was like, and I was like, okay, bud, okay. So I didn't get the game. But like 2 months later, I go back and it's still there. $9 still.
There you go.
For 3 games, BioShock 1, 2, and Infinite, which is badass. So on to the announcements. Xbox One owners, you will understand this. You can't save very much on... You have to save. Like, back in the day, if you played a game on a system, it gave you the option. Hey, bro, you don't have a memory card in. Do you want to continue? Yeah, sure. I'll play.
Yep.
Right?
It makes you save.
No.
Oh.
On Xbox One, you can't even play the game unless you save the game to the Xbox, which takes up your hard drive, right?
Right. They want you to buy a bigger hard drive.
So, that's what I've done. That's my announcement. I bought a bigger hard drive. It is a Un momento, por favor. I want to be specifically right. It sounds smart when I say this.
It's not like it's a big deal.
It's a 2 terabyte.
Ooh.
That's 2,000 gigabytes. Yes. So I was like, oh, that's sweet as shit. Because, like, some of the games, like, I don't even know how big my hard drive is. I really don't know what, 150 gigabytes maybe?
Maybe.
And, like, each game is like 30.
Yeah.
It's like, the fuck out of here. I got like 20 games.
Yep.
It's actually not too bad because I've split. Some of the games are not that high in, like, gigabytes. I have, like, 14 games saved to it. But then, like, I have 6 or so that aren't. And I'm like, that's some bullshit. So, that's just cool. $85.
Wow.
Which, how much was that Captain America movie? How much did you say it was?
Fuck, I don't remember. 20?
Was it 20? That's what I want to ballpark most movies are at. So, Sunday, Marcadius, you will have your 85, actually, you'll have $125, because you bought me some other stuff that it hasn't even come in yet, so fuck you. And then I'll have $20 for that movie. And we will be watching that Captain America movie during the day of that record.
Nice.
Not doing a review of anything of it, because we don't know what the fuck it is. But that's what we'll be doing at the comic shop.
Nice.
And
I bought a copy of Extreme Evolution, one of the original ECW DVDs, on eBay, because I couldn't find my copy of it. So I was like, I have to have it. The guy I bought it from left his original receipt from 2004 from Sam Goody in the case.
That's cool.
Yeah, and there's no... I mean, I don't even think he watched it. I think he opened it and just closed it.
Watched it once, maybe,
yeah,
and just stashed
because there was nothing on the...
Because you could say that if you opened up any of those DVDs, it would probably look like they were polished clean like that.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. And they all have the receipts in them.
Yeah.
Maybe I sold it to you.
Maybe.
I didn't, because I would never have sold that. I wouldn't have. That's ECW, baby.
Yep. But I couldn't find mine, and I've looked everywhere in all my empty cases, everything, and I can't find it.
Maybe someday that'll be a viewer request by Ace Williams to do that on the episode.
All right. Oh, shit. Also, I almost forgot. Congratulations to Anthony Green.
Yes, absolutely.
He was wrestling for Evolve, and he got signed for NXT. That's fucking cool.
Which is very cool, because I was accurate, right, when I said on Facebook about him being, like, starting off as a referee?
Yeah.
Okay, because afterwards I'm like, that was the right dude, right? I wasn't mixing him up with some other motherfucker.
He came out with one of the Bella twins.
Because he looks so different now. He looks like a weird little macho man in that still that I saw. But yeah, congratulations to Anthony Green. He started off in CTWE as a referee, and then worked his way to the Revolution, which I know you do, and I know I do. We have bracelets that say that. You know, the Revolution has begun.
And then he was in a tag team with Cam Zagawi for a while.
Yeah, he was. That's true. I forgot about that. So... They were, what the hell was their name?
The Cam, I want to say the Cam-Am connection.
Yeah. Something like that, yeah. So yeah, congratulations to him, and hopefully, I don't want to be a sauerkraut, but NXT's not always, like, the best.
Yeah.
But good luck. Honestly, good luck, because that's really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So,
got anything else?
Is there anything else? Not that I can think of. I mean... I do want to go on one little rant real quick I got into an argument with somebody about an opinion. It wasn't even about the opinion, it was just like the topic itself, and it wasn't even an argument, it was just, okay, that's what you said, here's what I say. We can either rebuttal this and keep going and just kind of talk it out. Not even, I say it like it was an argument, it wasn't. But then, it turned into one, like always, if you have an opinion. So not always the most level-headed, but I can be. I responded by saying in a private message, I respect your opinion, I just don't agree with that. This is exactly what I said. I respect your opinion, I just don't agree with it. Different strokes for different folks. With like a thumbs up or this, I do. Okay, that's me saying that's okay. Your opinion is your opinion, mine is mine. I don't hate you. Nothing, right?
Yep.
The very next response from this individual was, nah, see, it's because you're a man and that's the problem.
Oh, Jesus.
How can you put yourself out there and want to be accepted to a certain demographic or a certain group or a certain movement, and then when you say you have to follow my rules, my way of thinking, or you're just the problem. Isn't that what you're trying to fight, is the oppression, the idea of oppression? Is that not what you're doing? Is that not what you're doing to me, is oppressing me on my thoughts? In my opinion? Even though maybe I've agreed with you, and if I didn't, I even said, it's okay. We can still be two individuals with two thoughts. And then you know what I said they did after I kind of expressed this? Blocked me. Now this is somebody I have been talking to for a good solid month and a half, every single day, that knows my opinions, knows where my background is, knows where I'm coming from, and has the gall to call me sexist. I don't care what you call me, but you know me. You know me enough to know that's not true. And that's where I get offended by. It's just, that's unbelievable. You want to be accepted. You want your opinion to be heard, but yet you dismiss anybody for thinking otherwise. And that's fine. You can do that to the people that come at you in a negative tone and say, fuck you, your opinion is wrong. You can absolutely then turn it around and be like, well, fuck you too then. Your opinion's wrong. But I didn't do that. I didn't do that to you. I don't do that to most. And I know that I can be very stubborn, but I at least try to come back level-headed and open-minded if I was in the wrong. I at least tried to do it.
I mean, you and I have had our ups and downs with stuff.
And it's going to happen because you know that's just the way I am. But you understand that. And I'm not saying accept me for being difficult. Everybody's different.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody's different. So for you to get so offended at me for just saying, well, that's okay, we can both have different opinions, but can we still be friends? And then you to literally say to me, no, it's because you're a man and that's the problem. That right there, that'll never get your movement across. That's why people laugh at you. That's why people don't take you serious. And that's why people will never ever try to understand what you have to say. Because of that narrow-minded, self-centered thinking. And that's all I have to say on that.
Okay.
So, on to wrestling! And this is a great... People want to say, we listen to the podcast and all that, and I really hope people do listen to it for the fun that we do have, and for the legitimacy that we try to have for a conversation, or, we don't talk politics and stuff. Sometimes
it's more sin every once in a while.
But we don't get full into the hardcore, beliefs. Because that's when you start to offend people, and that's not the goal of any of this. Yeah. If we offend people...
And, you and I have different views on stuff, too, and we try not to... get fuck you with stuff, you know what I mean?
But the thing is, you can, and if you do, you just get over it.
Yep.
You get over that fuck you. You can say it to people, I don't give a fuck, people can say it to me. But when you go that extra length,
yep.
When you go that extra fucking little bit, that's when it's like, wait a minute, what is the point? Because that whole discussion that this person and I had, that's exactly what it was all about. Man versus woman. Now, I'm the man. Okay? But I'm saying we can have different opinions. And you're the woman saying to me, you're a man, and that's the problem. That's the problem right there, is that kind of thinking. And not the thinking of man versus woman, is just that narrow-minded, this is the way it is, because that's what you're trying to fight against.
Yep.
But you get over those things. You get over the fuck yous, but to go that extra length and be a douchebag about it, that's... whatever, that's on you, and I'm getting it out right now, and that's where I was getting with this. This podcast is awesome because it allows you to express yourself in any manner that you want, other than, I don't know yet, we haven't figured it out. What will we do?
Because not too many people comment, which kind of pisses me off.
But there's people that tell me they listen, and then there's people that say, where do I find you, bro? I've maybe shared one video that didn't say YouTube. And that was the NWO one, which thanks people for liking that.
Yeah, and how many videos have we posted where we tell every single platform
and how many,
we're on?
Almost every fucking thumbnail you're going to see us post will have that image.
Zoom in on it, folks. Zoom in.
Where do you find anything? The search engine.
Yep.
I don't know. How do you find the Joe Rogan podcast? Let me call him up and just ask him, can you fucking send me a link, bro? I don't know. Now I'm just kind of off the rails, as we always go. But I appreciate the ability to have that expressive platform.
Yeah.
Because it's very... to say the least.
But to start the show, we're going to watch the draft episode, the first draft of 2002 of Monday Night Raw.
It's what, 3 months in?
This was in March. This was right after WrestleMania, I believe.
Turn it down.
Good evening.
Linda McMahon.
We will witness the first ever World Wrestling Federation draft. Vince McMahon will represent
Well,
SmackDown.
no wonder it's so loud. I had him up on 100 bucks.
In the interest of time, only 22.
Ooh, yeah,
He's sitting there like he's one of the boys.
A lottery will be held immediately.
It's so cool to look back and see how stacked that roster was in 02. And that's before a lot of people even debuted how stacked that roster was.
Oh, I know. The stars that are sitting there right now. And, people can dismiss it and say, well, there's the stars today. I get it. We are of that generation that was the generation before us that was saying your generation's wrestling sucks. Okay? Right? We have been entitled, or we are at that point of entitlement. He has been watching wrestling almost 30 years. I've been watching wrestling exactly 20 years. We are professionals at watching wrestling. I don't give a fuck who you are. This generation has some great talent. I'm not even going to say that. All the stars still put their bodies on the line, and they do a tremendous job. It's just not the same. The body of work is not the same.
The storytelling's not the same.
It's just, and Ryback says it a lot, and we've said it a lot too. And he says it a lot about AEW. But I'm going to say wrestling as a whole. There's no big guys. Not even that, you don't have to be big and huge and muscular, but you stand the fuck out when you are.
Yep.
Like, when they just showed that shot of all the boys in the back, Hogan. It's like, whoa, look at fucking Hogan sitting there with Matt Hardy.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, I don't get that same excitement when I see, and I love Kevin Owens, but when I see Kevin Owens sitting next to... There you go, can't even give an example.
Seth Rollins.
Like, fuck, what the fuck this... Literally? Really? SummerSlam? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
They have no ideas. Dominic and Seth Rollins. It's ridiculous. That's going to be a horrible match. I don't care how much Dominic has been training. That's going to be a horrible match.
Get the fuck out of here. I saw that and I'm like, are you kidding me?
And there's no excitement granted there hasn't been a crowd in months, but even when there was a crowd, there's not the excitement of the crowd that there was.
The signs! I miss signs! I miss the signs. I miss people having signs. Look at that Outsiders shirt. Outsiders, baby. You know who they are if you've been watching our podcast, because we did an NWO Sold Out episode, the first and only ever pay-per-view in the NWO name.
But they don't get that tight onto the announcers anymore to really get you engrossed in the product. It's not. This isn't as slick as it is now.
I feel like WWE now. I've said it before. It's too polished, but I feel like it's all. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't believe it anymore. Like this, I feel like this motherfucker's coming out here ready to lay suplexes and break fucking necks. Why? Because it looks so goddamn dirty and low budget.
Yep.
Not saying it is low budget. That's thousands of dollars and probably millions of something. I don't know. But it just looks organic.
Yep.
Now everything... Well, oh shit, you're out of place. Go back over there.
Yep.
And I mean...
And I don't know what it
I'm looking up my thing.
Photographers on the side and all that stuff.
I miss that.
Yeah, I miss being able to see what's going on.
It just felt like a sport more than it. Yep. Look at this,
Mr. Fucking Perfect. I miss this too, the actual Titantrons with video footage on it instead of just some kind of graphic. Yeah.
My daughter and I, we watched something during one of these 2002 pay-per-views, and he came out, and I was like, yes, he's the man, and she was asking about him, and she's like, do you have him as a toy? Like I used to.
And the fact that your daughter likes this and watches it is even better.
She'll say no, but then once it's on, she's like enthroned. She really does love it.
But knowing that even a guy like Mr. Perfect came back in 2002, even for the short run that he had, that he was on Monday Night Raw in 2002, wrestling Taz. That's so fucking cool.
Right. The human suplex machine versus the Perfect Plex.
Yep.
Like, did they ever, like, moniker it that or title it that or anything fun or no?
Not really.
I don't know why I keep getting, like, all wrestling news feeds on Google. Report, WWE star getting pushed because of Dave Meltzer. Reports Dave Meltzer. I don't know. Dwayne Johnson. This is cool. Big cool news. I'm not the biggest Rock fan, nor am I the biggest Dwayne Johnson fan. But it's pretty badass that he bought
the XFL.
The XFL, yeah. Because then that means there's going to be another season of it, which is fucking cool.
And you know that he'll just be an executive with the company. He's not going to be the guy he's not going to be Vince McMahon that wants every little bit of everything.
Oh, no, but he's going to be the face. He's going to be on that.
Oh, yeah.
Which... How well did that work with fucking... What was he on? American Gladiators or something? But hold on, uno momento, por favor. We will be getting into these pay-per-views. Well, actually, the whole 2002. So Dave is letting me borrow the 2001 pay-per-view series or set, whatever, which would have made more sense doing that first. But think of it like Star Wars. This is episode 4 and 5 and 6, and then episode 1, 2, and 3 will come later. Think of it like that, and they will be better. Hold on, I have this. Which one's 2002?
Yep.
So, what happened at the end of 2001? Armageddon, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it was Vengeance was the last pay-per-view of 2000.
Armageddon out of this pay-per-view fucking business because I don't know any of these. What was it?
Vengeance.
Vengeance?
Yep, it was the first Vengeance.
Okay, so Vengeance of 01. What led us into... Do you know? Can you
yeah, Jericho won the Undisputed title. Beating Rock and Austin in the same night. He was Le Champion even back then.
He was Le Champion of the world.
And that was the pay-per-view.
That's what he should call himself now. Instead of King of the World, Le Champion of the world.
Yeah. But that was also the pay-per-view where Triple H was all over the promotional stuff. Because they thought he might be back by then, and then they realized he wasn't going to be a part of it.
Till the Rumble?
Yep.
Right. Which, we'll get right there, right now, right here, right now, right here, right now! And I just want to say, I don't know what pay-per-view it was. I was listening, something to do with an Elimination Chamber.
That was super.
Woo! Ric Flair's on the screen with
Arn Anderson, who, like Conrad said, has looked 50 his entire life.
He's always looked like a dad. He's always looked like a dad.
Yep.
Even he still looks the same, just a little heavier. But, well, no, I don't know if it was like in 04, or not 04, jeez, I don't know why I keep saying that. 02? I just watched, I think it was from 08, No Way Out 08, where they had the Elimination Chamber and everybody thought Hardy was going to win it, or something like that. This is what Lillian Garcia says. I'm not going to remember the whole thing, but she says this at the very end. And the winner, and the last man standing, will be declared the winner.
She was horrible.
How the fuck did you get a job, bitch? How the fuck did you get a job? Is that the first time? And the winner, and the last man standing, will be declared the winner. Well, what are the other options? Can you lay him down?
I love the feel of this too, where it felt like an NFL draft with everybody in the back and having
cool
their
that this
war
was the
rooms
first one.
and stuff.
They did it very nicely.
Yeah,
it feels cool. But should we pause this for a minute? Talk about the pay-per-view? Because I don't want to miss who's going to get announced and shit like that.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Because they're not watching it along with us, and if you are, comment! Leave a fucking comment!
Yeah, tell us what you think about what we do. Seriously.
Especially you, Greg, you son of a bitch. You know you're going to fucking listen, and you're going to get a t-shirt, and you know what your shirt's going to be? Could be that. We're going to do that logo on a shirt. Just Do we want to do it white? Like the NWO?
I found a site where you can do it white or you can do black. You can do a white shirt with black letters or a black shirt with the white letters, so.
Let's give him a black one.
Okay.
So we'll do the black one with the CT or CWP. I would like that as like the shirt we got for everybody, or not everybody, but you know what I mean. Like that would be a cool one to have because like that's just. And then if we could get something to make it his shirt, you know what I mean? I don't know what. Someone like put your name on it, Greg. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll look it up.
All right.
But people messaging me. Fuck you. So getting into from 01 into 2002, we go into the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
Now, I don't know what happened week by week, so this is basically going to be pay-per-view by pay-per-view. The first match is the WWF Tag Team Champions. Actually, let me real quick read how they have this written, so I'm not reading it like an idiot. Okay, so these are not like detailed notes. I guess these are just kind of fucking spark notes. But the WWF Tag Team Champions, Spike Dudley and Taz, defeated the Dudley Boys. I don't even know if they retained the championships or they...
They retained the titles.
Did they retain the title?
Stacy Keibler was with the Dudley Boys.
Which to me was really cool because I never got to see any of like Stacy Keibler transition over or anything. So it was awesome. I really did enjoy watching that 02. William Regal defeated Edge to win the IC title.
That's when Regal was using the brass knucks at that point.
Right, the power of the punch. What else do we have? The WWF Women's Championship. Trish Stratus defended it against Jazz, Jacqueline. Oh, and Jacqueline was a special referee. They have these really worded funny. But,
you know, I'm surprised they used Jazz. Like, I know she was a big name in ECW, but I never picked her as one of the women they would bring in.
See, I didn't have... Even if I watched it at that point, I don't think at 12 years old I would have had the idea of the business. Yeah,
right.
I still had that mindset of like, oh shit, this bitch is bad.
Yep.
You know, like I wouldn't have thought...
Or for the kind of women that they brought into the company.
Right, thinking of it now. Well, thinking of it now, I mean, it kind of makes... It seems like it makes sense. I mean, you had Jacqueline, a black woman that was muscular. I mean, she fits the tone of everything. At least, unless I'm trying to compare her to somebody that, I guess, it makes, alright, the only way I can say it makes more sense than, like, having Dawn Marie in the business at all. Because they didn't really use her for, her big thing was the fucking... What was it? The Tori Wilson.
The lesbian angle.
Yeah, other than that,
yeah.
You didn't really have her with Just Incredible or anything.
Yeah, she wrestled maybe a few times, and that was it. Yeah.
But I don't know, whatever. I always liked Jazz.
Yeah, I like Jazz. She had really good matches with Trish. I really liked their
I didn't care for Trish. That was the thing Mark and I, we were watching the Rumble and No Way Out. He was like, oh man, Trish, not really like that, but he thought she was pretty good looking, whatever. And I'm just like, even as a kid, when I was going through puberty and stuff, and whatever, call me gay. She didn't do it for me in like the sense of like, yes. She always looked, I still think this, back then, like a alcoholic 20 to 30-year-old mom. Face was always puffy, bags under her eyes, just always looked like she was worn out ring wrap. I thought she looked better as like 05 and on...
When she was leaner?
Yeah, and not because she was thick, she didn't look good. She looked worn out. I don't give a fuck, it's the truth. Then there was Ric Flair. Ric Flair came into the business. Now, when did he come in?
He came in the day after Survivor Series.
Of 01?
Yep.
Okay. To be partners
with Vince McMahon.
Yep. Which leads us to the kind of this draft between the two. But Ric Flair defeated Vince McMahon by submission in a street fight.
Vince McMahon was posing the whole time, and Jerry Lawler on commentary, the King, and Ross was like, "You're way too into his body."
It's good stuff.
Yep.
WWF World Champion Chris Jericho defeated The Rock using his feet on the ropes. Of course, that's what the champions do. And then Triple H won the Royal Rumble to... Well, we'll go there.
Yep.
We want to talk about the Royal Rumble and the participants?
Yeah, I mean, you had
See who was in there.
Mr. Perfect came back, Val Venus came back, The Godfather came back.
What the fuck is this? I'm on the goddamn 2002 pay-per-view Royal Rumble, and they set me up with 1988. I don't need that! There we go. Oh, wow, see, this is more detailed. Why the fuck wouldn't the pay-per-view listing be?
Right, Goldust. I know Goldust came back for that one.
We've got Rikishi in at number 1. Goldust is number 2. Big Boss Man comes in
I forgot about Boss Man.
as number 3. Bradshaw is number 4. Lance Storm, if he can be serious for a minute, number 5. Al Snow, because what does he want? Head. He comes in at number 6. The one, Billy Gunn, comes in at 7, and the...
Who was eliminated by another participant that was a bit of a surprise.
Oh, I was going to say, Dave.
I didn't say the name.
No, but the way you said that, they were all eliminated by other participants. That were surprises. Matt Hardy, followed directly by, literally and in life, Jeff, Maven,
who drop kicked the Undertaker in the back and eliminated him.
Scotty 2 Hotty, Christian, Diamond Dallas Page before he became the Creeper, Chucky Palumbo, the Godfather, Albert, Perry fucking Saturn was in there at 18. God damn. Stone Cold was in at 19. Val Venus, like you said, is number 20. He got to get tested for that VD because Test was in at number 20. I don't know. My guy Triple H, the winner chicken dinner, came in at number 22, which is a good number because 22 is my daughter's birthday. And I've always thought things were cool. 22, Two-Face, Duality, whatever. The Hurricane Helms. 2 H's, not Triple H.
And tried to choke slam Stone Cold and Triple H at the same time.
Didn't work. Farouk, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Angle, The Big Show, Kane, Rob Van Dam at 29, and to follow it all up, Booker T at 30.
Van Dam doing the 5-star
The
frog
5.
splash on Angle was pretty cool.
All of that, it was pretty good shit because it was all... When we look back at it now, almost 20 years ago... wow, Jesus Christ, now I've been watching wrestling longer than 20 years then. If that was 19 years ago... Jesus, age. We're not going to get back into the age thing. But when you look back at that, to think how many of those guys are, like, still around today, who became what? I mean, you got Bradshaw at that time, becomes future World Heavyweight Champion. Matt and Jeff Hardy, future World Heavyweight Champions. Christian, a future World Heavyweight Champion. That's it. Just kidding. Van Dam, future World Heavyweight Champion. Big Show. All these guys went on to not become because they were already stars, you just didn't know it yet.
Yep.
It's just very cool shit.
One of my favorite parts of that whole thing was when Chuck Palumbo came out and JR kept calling him Chucky.
Chucky.
And King was like, "Are you going to say it like that every time? You mean with disdain and disgust?"
Yep.
And then the King was
Chucky.
like, "I used to have a next door neighbor named Chucky." And Jared was like, "I bet you did."
I bet you did.
I love that shit.
I bet you did, King.
Just the rapport between those two was so good. Yeah.
Because now, and I've it's not even now. It's because I blame all the bad commentating on Michael Cole.
Yeah.
Because his transition into becoming like the guy that, not so much I don't want to use the voice because it wasn't even at that time. It was literally when he first started. His downplaying of other people trying to say things.
Yeah.
And then that becoming the normal. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. People can't tell a story because he needs to shout the loudest to be the guy that's heard. He needs to repeat the same thing someone else just said so he is the voice that's been heard.
Yep.
And it's like, oh my fucking God. Michael Cole, I don't want to ever meet him. I don't care if you were an Attitude Era guy or not. I don't want to meet you. You are a cancer. And
he's a yes man. You can tell he's a total yes man.
I hope people seriously hate you. Because I do. I really don't like him at all. You're a fucking tool. Cunt.
I mean, the most fame you've ever gotten is that feud with King, and that was it.
And you probably only got that win because you sucked somebody's cock. Yeah, pal. You know whose cock it was. Because Vince likes cock. In guys' mouths. Pal. If you don't know who that is, I'm sorry. But, no way out. I mean, we can go back into this now because I'm rambling. I just don't know how to transition back and forth into talking and watching and talking.
Well, Vince has the first pick in the draft.
The first pick. I do, though, have to be by at least, it's going on 3 o'clock, so by at least 4:30ish, I kind of have to be wrapped up.
Okay.
Which I think will be totally fine. I feel like I know all of this, but I don't. Why isn't that a shirt?
Right. He chose The Rock for SmackDown in the first pick.
Who would, at this point in time, Dave, who would be your very first pick?
Hogan.
Exactly.
And the caveat was Austin wasn't available as a pick. He was a free agent at this point. Because he had walked out because he didn't like creative for the first time.
Right.
So.
Okay. So The Rock, 6'5", 275, 6-time WWF champion, youngest WWE champion ever until Randy Orton. Now he's like a 10-time champion. But that's what my first thought would have been Hogan.
Yep.
I'm bringing Hogan to SmackDown.
And I like that Flair is the owner of Raw and Vince is the owner of SmackDown. That's an interesting twist, too.
That's why I really thought it was cool when, I thought it was really cool when, what's his face? The story when, oh my god, what's his name? He's the president of the goddamn world. Donald Trump. When he bought Raw, I thought, I was like, well, that's a cool idea.
Yep.
Because if anybody could do it, only another billionaire, that would make sense. It's not like fucking... You're going to have Eric Bischoff come back and say, well, I'm working for Ted Turner and he wants to buy out the company. Well, that's just a silly gimmick. That's a stupid story.
Yeah.
So I thought the whole... stuff like what you just said. Vince, and that's what I think what you were getting at, the fact that Vince McMahon, the guy that owns the whole company, deciding to own or be in charge of SmackDown opposed to Raw, which has always been the flagship show.
Yep.
Was that what you were kind of alluding to?
Yeah. Yep.
Because that's what I think that's a great storyline, because now it's like, fuck, the number one show doesn't have, like, the guy on that. That's interesting.
Yep. Now you have just Vince talking shit to The Rock, and The Rock soaking up the crowd. It's just the feel of this era.
You miss it. You miss it. It still feels like the Attitude Era.
Like, I could binge watch the entire year of Raw and probably love every second of it.
Even if it was stupid shit that at that time you were like, this is dumb.
Yeah, even the Katie Vick shit. Like, I would be happy to see it. Instead of the shit they're doing
Someone
now.
could retort this and say, well, you could watch the product now and say the same thing in like 20 years. It's like, I could. But I'm not going to.
I'm not going to.
So that's the problem, folks. I don't even want to invest my time in it.
Yeah. Like, we watch the pay-per-views just to kind of be current.
Because now, more than anything, it's satire.
Yeah.
WWE,
it's to pick it apart.
WWE is 100% a joke of itself.
Yep.
I mean, you got Drew McIntyre coming out now and talking about the lowest ratings with the lowest viewings in wrestling history since he's been champion. It's like...
And it's not his fault.
It's not his fault, right. But to me, as somebody that holds a pedestal up and says, well, WWE's like the place to go, I'd be reviewing that assessment and being like, wow, if the guy that's at the top is saying things like this, it's not because of the corona, it's because of the product's just shit.
Yep. Because if it was the coronavirus, then AEW would be in the tank, too.
Right.
You know
and your views, if anything, should skyrocket because those 20,000 or whatever that would go to a show each night are now home.
Yep.
Those views that you're getting live are not helping your views on TV-wise, if anything, like I just said, the 20,000 are now at home watching TV more than they were if they were watching it that one night.
Yeah.
So your views should be doubled off of that science. And I could be wrong because I am no science guy. But going, still in the 2002 bracket, going into No Way Out, we talked about Hogan. Let's talk about how we get to No Way Out. Because Hogan wasn't, the NWO wasn't in the Royal Rumble.
Nope.
So clearly something, this cancer had to be... Actually, no, I have to do it like this. Because I can. How did
Vince had snapped. He was face first and the NWO logo was on the back of the chair.
Oh, shit, so this. Just go with us, folks. We're on the fly.
But Ric Flair had driven him to the point of snapping.
Cancer and the NWO! Does it work or no?
Yeah.
I don't know much, but what I do know, it's not much.
But the NWO debuted at that pay-per-view.
Was that like even their first time being seen on TV and shit?
Yep.
Kind of weak. I did think it was kind of weak then. I did. Because, I mean, the whole coming out, playing it down like they're good guys, and then just being bad guys at the end, that wasn't really too creative.
No.
It was like, you not once, even if I didn't know all that prior, like what the results were, I still would have been like, I'm not buying this.
And that first night, Hogan got a huge pop. You knew it wasn't going to work.
Right. But, which, to me, though, it doesn't make sense because, like, what was your goal with the NWO anyways? Like, what was the goal?
Are you going to put guys into it and make it stronger? Like,
right, because you only did that after Hogan left. Or not left, but left the NWO gimmick and was becoming like Hollywood Hogan and of the WWE. Because then you had Waltman, you had Big Show, you had Booker.
Yeah.
You had Michaels wear a shirt for a cup of coffee. Like...
You teased that Triple H was going to be in it, and...
You never had, like, NWO versus, like, DX.
Yep.
Which you should have. You should have had Waltman not be part of the NWO. He should have been like, well, no, fuck that. Like, I got, like, kicked out and fucked over from WCW. I don't want to represent that. I want to represent my brotherhood, right?
Yep.
Why Shawn Michaels was in it? Because you're playing off the Click. Then call it the Click. Don't call it the NWO. It didn't make sense to me.
Yep. Yeah, you could have transitioned to the Click out of the NWO when it wasn't working.
Right, and then stopped calling it the NWO.
Yep, that's what,
Like, make it its own entity. But, not everything is great and whatever. But on this pay-per-view, I'll throw the matches out there and we can stop and talk about them if you want. WWF European Champion Diamond Dallas Page defeated the Big Boss Man by disqualification. Bang!
It's so cool to know the Boss Man was still and still in the pay-per-views and stuff, which is really cool.
Yep. The APA won a 6-man tag team turmoil match. The order of entry was Scotty 2 Hotty and Albert, Lance Storm and Christian, the Hardy Boys, the Dudleys, Chucky Palumbo and Billy Gunn.
Chucky.
And the APA, which were the winners. I don't know why I said it so like a surprise.
And I think that was for #1 contender for the tag titles.
It doesn't say that, but
I think it might have been.
It could have been. I don't remember, but it could have been. Oh, okay. I see what's going on here. That one was on Heat. The European DDP and Boss Man was on Heat. I didn't realize that was written like that. Then up next, RVD defeated Goldust. WWF Tag Team Champions Spike Dudley and Taz defeated Booker T and Test. And Taz made Test submit. Taz was hot all through every point in his WWF career, which was like 2 years. Like his active career, in-ring active career.
No matter how much they wanted him not to succeed, he made everything work.
People liked him, which... Then when you see him like now, it's like... Well, no, actually now in AEW, I'm going to eat my words. Because, like I said before, I didn't give a fuck about what he did. Because where was the way he's a manager now when he was like with Samoa Joe?
Yeah.
Right? Like, he is the Paul Heyman right now of AEW. And I don't mean that in like wrestling genius, but I mean that, and like he is the manager of managers in that company.
And even when he fumbles and says something wrong, it still sounds badass. Yeah,
right.
It seems like, oh, I fumbled my words, but it's because I'm so fucking intense.
Pissed off at you right now, Moxley.
Yep.
I love it. I absolutely love that shit.
And the FTW title is great. So cool. Such a good throwback. I would love to see them.
That's the coolest thing.
To bring in Sabu and just have a match with Brian Cage for the title. That would be
the fact that like he said, no company. I'm just on the floor because it's so cool. When I saw that, I didn't know that. I was so surprised by that. I was like,
I didn't know it was going to happen either.
For real? Like, he's got the FTW title in that satchel. He pulls it out, and I jumped out of this chair. I was like, no fucking way! Because like, how badass was that? Because like he said, no company has ever acknowledged it, which is weird because I would think ECW did, but they didn't. ECW didn't acknowledge that as an actual title?
Sabu won it for a while, and they kept it as like a secondary kind of title.
It was more like the Zack Ryder's Woo 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 title.
It had a little bit more importance than that, but not as much as like a world title. So,
ooh, you want to pause this for a second?
Yeah.
Because we're on a roll here with this AEW shit. But yeah, the FTW title was sweet. I'd love to see any ECW guy come in. That would be really dope.
I'd like to see some of them come in for the TV title. Have an ECW guy come in. Have Sandman come in.
Scorpio. Too Cold Scorpio.
Yep.
Come on, that motherfucker is still jiving and fucking...
But think if Tony Khan would totally buy the rights to Metallica for one time for the Sandman to come out.
Yeah.
Because he's such a fan, he would
That
totally
would be badass. That would be badass. Nothing is off the table with AEW because, honestly, they are a badass company. I mean, from having a championship toy... to, I gotta say it, Woo. I don't know what his real name is.
Matt Cardona.
Matt Cardona is on AEW, looking jacked.
They're picking the right guys.
They are.
They're
really doing what TNA did. They're doing exactly what TNA did. Now, TNA treated Sting as the top-tier guy. AEW has Chris Jericho, right?
Yep.
Then you got all the other guys that people know their names, but they weren't stars yet. And they weren't the guys that would overshadow the other guys. When Christian came in, everybody knew who Christian was. Let's throw Cage at the end of his name, make him a world champion. Awesome, right?
Had some of the best material of his entire career.
I mean, AEW was truly treating it like that, and I love that shit. I mean, if you go and you make... is that what he's going by? Is Matt Cardona?
Yep.
I don't like that name. I'd rather have a gimmick name than Cardona.
Right.
Like Matt. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna. It's hard for me to get used to. But for him, I fucking lost my train of thought because your name was so weird. I don't know if I could see you as a world champ. Like I can. I don't even want to say that.
But they need mid-card guys. That's the thing. You
well,
need.
It's not even that. Right? No, they do. They do. And not everybody can be world champion, but. There's the potential that anybody could be.
Yep. But that's like, I look at like a tag team like Butcher and Blade and, Private Party. I don't see them, I see them maybe becoming tag champs, but not for a long time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, the Young Bucks are going to be, FTR, teams like that. Maybe the Jurassic Express will have it.
Butcher and Blade feels like
those other teams.
Butcher and Blade feels like a team. Sure, they look good and they work good.
They feel like Power and Glory to me.
Right. Two guys that you just were like, they look like they fit together, and they do. I mean, they do work good, but it's just...
They're going to be that team that'll give you a good match, but they're not going to move up that level.
Yeah.
I
had a team right on my tip of my nose that I was thinking of that really, truly... Oh, like TNA, having the menagerie.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, that's fun on paper and stuff, and for like to push something, but it's not... That's not a long-term idea. Don't, if anything, invest in them singularly.
Yep.
As two individuals, because the Butcher, the big dude, and those names, you gotta have some kind of name. You can't just be the Butcher and the Blade. Like, this isn't Masked Superstar A and Masked Superstar B.
Yeah.
Come on. But I don't know. But it's very cool to see that, and I have to also mention, because we are talking about TNA a little bit, Impact's got some life into it again. You see that roster that just got bulked up?
Yeah.
Damn!
I'll have to let you watch Slammiversary, because I actually thought it was a good show.
Is that when they all debuted or something?
Yeah, a lot of them debuted, yeah.
So there might be Impact might be on the horizon once again.
I think if their TV deal with Access, ends up, they'll try to get a better TV deal with somebody else.
My thing, I can't see those guys signing with a company like that unless there wasn't a rhyme or a reason. Why wouldn't you go to AEW? That's already.
Yep.
Like WWE, AEW, Impact.
You're not hearing a lot about Ring of Honor anymore.
No, so it's interesting to see all them fellas that just got released, basically. Slater?
Yep. And none of these guys are trying to go to Ring of Honor, which is,
It's interesting.
Yeah,
it's an interesting
really
time.
Is. Yep.
It's going to be very interesting. But with that pay-per-view, we'll get that out of the... Was that... Oh, no. William Regal defeated Edge in a... So we had... Oh, European. An Intercontinental, okay. Yeah, I forget the European title, was the thing.
Yep.
Which they should bring that back. Have the Intercontinental... Well, I mean,
you've got the NXT UK brand. Why don't you put it there?
Right, there you go.
And that's something they could defend over here, like an NXT and shit.
Exactly. The Rock defeated The Undertaker after Ric Flair hit UT... Abbreviations now, I see. Hit UT with his own lead pipe.
Off his bike.
Because Undertaker sat on that fucking motorcycle fidgeting. I'm over here fidgeting with my hands. With that lead pipe for so goddamn long that I was not interested anymore that he was going to use a lead pipe. Couldn't get that fucking thing out of that bike quick enough. And Jesus Christ, could that lead pipe have its own place on that roster in 02?
I know.
That fucking thing was signed on to every match. A lead pipe?
Took the place of the wrench from 88 or 98.
Christ, so many people getting hit with a lead pipe. Someone's going to be dead. Only so many people can get concussed and live until at least one motherfucker's dead.
Yep.
A lead pipe? Where's Moppy? Where's fucking Moppy? A mop is more believable. So, I don't know. Speaking of Moppy, and we're going to talk about this on the next comic shop, that fucking movie UHF, I fucking hated it.
Did you really?
I fucking hated it, and we're going to get into more depth on that when I give our review. I fucking hated it, though. I laughed once. One fucking time. And it was at the Mexican with the cockeye when he fucking did something with the animals.
Throwing the dogs out.
Yeah, I don't think it was the dog moment. There was the turtle.
When he used it as a suction cup and threw it on the...
He makes a funny sound, and I just giggled at the... I don't even think he's doing anything specific. He's just... And I just laughed. I was like, that was funny. Other than that... fucking... Weird Al. You lost my respect with that movie. That's gonna hurt Mark's feelings. So, time back in. I don't know how you do it, time in. Kurt Angle defeated Triple H after a couple chair shots and an angle slam to win a world title shot at WrestleMania. Stephanie McMahon was special referee, and that was the time when there was a divide in the McMahon-Helmsley family. And I gotta tell you, I know I said it to you, her titties were huge. They were cartoon huge. Like, they looked ridiculous huge.
Yeah, they were huge.
Still, though, one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life. And she looks just like the porn actress Rachel Rocks, which is cool. And then WWF champion Chris Jericho defeated Stone Cold Steve Austin after the New World Order interfered. And all throughout this pay-per-view, what were the NWO coming out and doing?
Just joking around and...
trying to win your hearts over. And hook, line, and stinker. It didn't work. I didn't buy into it. And then at the end of the pay-per-view, they turn. Because that, I think what really would have helped the NWO come in at this point or really get them the heel heat they needed was Bischoff.
Yeah.
They really needed Bischoff to be the voice, because with Hogan, Hogan can tell the fans shut up, but they're just going to buy into it and eat it up. Bischoff being out there being like, we're here in the WWE, the NWO, we're taking whatever the fuck that'll get you the heat.
See, if you were going to do them all coming out to start the pay-per-view, you should have had Bischoff come out to introduce them, get the heat in the beginning,
right. And
then Hogan couldn't have gotten that pop.
Right, you got to deflate the balloon before you let it go.
Because you're going to get that initial pop of them coming out, but instead Bischoff come out to get the heat.
Right. Hogan could have come out, not even said anything. Who was the biggest face then? Rock?
Yeah.
Could have come out, fucking beat the shit out of the Rock, spray painted NWO all over us everywhere, and that fucking crowd still would have went wild for Hogan because it's, in my opinion, why? It's the first time Hogan has been back since, what, 93?
93, yeah. Yep.
So, almost 10 years it's been since Hogan's been in a WWE ring. That's why he got over so much, because he's back! Like, he's back.
Yep.
He could do the most heinous thing right now, but he's still back.
And people didn't want to boo Nash and Hall either.
No, they didn't, because they were over. They didn't have the same run and same heat and same energy as when they were hot in the NWO, in the WCW.
Yep.
They just didn't have it.
You can't do a nostalgia thing like that and expect to get real heat.
You should have either brought Bischoff in with the NWO, had it a bigger group at the time when you brought it back, or when you did the invasion, you had those guys.
Yep.
You missed your mark on, in my opinion, on all those. Because even the NWO storylines with Austin and shit, it just never felt... You knew there was an end. You knew, like, with Hall, it's like, well, he's not going to ever be, like, a world champion, but he's feuding with Austin. Like, where's he going to go after this? Nowhere.
Yeah, they might go for the tag titles once Nash got,
right.
healed from his bicep.
But other than that, that's a former world heavyweight champion that was treated as such, even in WCW. I mean, he was treated as a big name that you're just going to mid-card after that? Like, that's, how do you do that? Like,
you had way too many people on the roster at that point to think that...
I truly believe Nash should have beat Triple H at some point when they were feuding for the world title. Nash should have won it in the Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
I don't understand why, and I get, Triple H buried these guys. That's like one of his best fucking friends. I'm not going to let that one be like we buried him. I don't understand what the point of, like, why these guys would come back for just to go somewhere else for a payday.
Yeah.
Why use that mainstream media or platform and job out for 3 months?
Yep.
It doesn't make sense to me. But, but that's where they go. They go into WrestleMania with... I don't want to read every fucking one. No. But they go into WrestleMania with the big main event is supposed to be Triple H and Chris Jericho, but the main event is
Rock and Hogan.
It's a classic match.
That I can never get tired of watching that match.
I can.
I love the story told in that match. I really do.
I can't stand The Rock so much that I don't like watching him wrestle anymore. It's kind of like Michaels. When I'm watching Michaels and Triple H in 03 and shit like that, and 04 wrestle, I'm just like, I like these matches. And I'm not saying they're bad matches. I'm not saying the Hogan and Rock one is bad. But I get tired of it quick.
Yeah.
I'm tired of overselling when it's not needed.
And as much praise as The Rock gets, his matches weren't that good.
They weren't.
He was
great
throwing
performer.
punches. It was throwing punches. It was doing the people's elbow.
Right.
It was a lot, like you said, a lot of overselling.
And I'm not saying that in a negative way. It's just people can say that about Triple H, and I'm sure you're right. And I'm probably.
But he was a lot more technical than The Rock was too. His matches had more to them.
They did. And I just.
The matches he had with Triple H were really the only ones where you really got anything out of it.
And it's I'm going to say the same thing. We're opening up the can of worms, baby. Austin is the same way.
Austin, the only reason
he's badass. I love his intensity, the aggression, his over-the-top antics of, like, I'm just going to beat the shit out of you at all costs. I love it. But I'm sorry. It's a little overrated.
If he hadn't had the neck problems, his matches would have been better. He had to change his style because of his neck.
Okay, I can allow that to be.
Because if you watch his WCW matches, he did a lot of shit. He wrestled a more... Like his matches with Brett in like 95, stuff in 96, he did a lot more in the ring.
Well, can we then not label it as like, he's so great? Because he's, like, pretty average.
No, he is. And at that period, he was, yeah.
Because, I mean... Yeah. I don't know. I'm just... Especially maybe it's at the point now where I've seen so many of those matches to where it's like it's kind of the same. Like WrestleMania 15, their first match at WrestleMania was awesome. That was one of my favorite matches. It still is one of my favorite matches of all time. WrestleMania 17.
Yep.
It's okay. WrestleMania 19. Meh. 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 Give me Brock Lesnar breaking his neck all night. I don't want to sound like a pissy wrestling fan, because I do love them all.
But you can go back and look at things and see, like, this is great stuff, but, you know, you can add the but in there, and
Shawn Michaels is my biggest one, because I can watch Rock matches, but specifically saying that Hogan and Rock one, I've seen it enough times where I don't ever need to see it again.
I get that way with the Iron Man match with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. I could never watch that match again and not care.
This is fact, I've only ever seen it once, because I don't need to see it again.
That match gets so much praise, and I understand it was the first of its kind, and it had its great moments, but the high esteem that it's held up to, I don't get whatsoever.
I feel that way. Brother! With so many wrestlers like that, though. Like, Shawn Michaels was great, so wasn't the next guy next to him. He just politicked his way to be the guy. Okay, Bret Hart was great, but so wasn't Owen Hart. I think Owen Hart was better. Bret Hart just had the opportunity to be seen a little bit. Like, it's weird. I don't know. I view things very differently of, like, well, why is he the greatest? Well, it's like, well, this guy's basically the same fucking version of him.
Yep.
Like, there's no other Macho Man Randy Savage. Okay? There's no other Rock. I mean, there is no other Rock. There is no another Undertaker. There's only one of any of those types of guys, because there's no other. The Rock, like we were just saying, he's not the greatest wrestler, but his personality is what sold him, okay? Shawn Michaels, your personality is like a wet fish in a dry pan. It's just, without somebody to play off of, you're boring as fuck, dude.
He totally needed, like, Diesel. He needed Diesel to be with him. He always needed something. He needed
somebody. Sherry.
Yep.
Somebody. It was I don't know. And I am knocking these guys, but fuck you make a lot more money than me, and my opinion doesn't matter. So, whatever. Now, a couple matches happen. Undertaker defeated Ric Flair, which I always enjoyed that as a match. I seldomly can think of Undertaker kind of in like 2008. A lot of his matches were the same, but that I do blame. I say this. I blame that on the booking of who he was in matches with.
Right. His stuff in 07 with Batista, I love
that.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you what your favorite Undertaker feud is. Literally, one of my favorite Undertaker feuds is with him and Batista.
Yeah.
Batista was well established as a star. Undertaker was that guy that was yet to even be close. Wasn't even close to being yet to getting to retire. Still in his prime, and it was badass shit. But
I would have to say his matches with Lesnar, his feud with Lesnar, in 02, and then when they revisited it in 03, I think that would be my favorite. Those are
good. But the thing with Undertaker in like 08 and shit, being booked with like Great Khali.
Yeah.
Come on, just because they're a big guy doesn't mean feed him to Taker.
Yep.
Like, how he didn't get to have any say against that, or maybe he did, I don't know. Because I would have been like, WrestleMania 9. I'm not saying anything else. WrestleMania 9, look what you fuckers did to me. I'm not doing this with him. Again. That Elimination Chamber match, you literally can see Undertaker getting the triangle choke on, or the Hell's Gate submission, whatever he called it. And like, positioning Great Khali on how to get in. And I'm like, oh my fucking god.
Yep.
Like,
and fuck you, Great Khali.
Yeah, you're a fucking douchebag.
You're a douchebag.
Punjabi prick.
Yep.
Couldn't even fucking. That's the whole reason anyone wants to get a picture with you, you fucking giant fuck. Is to get a picture next to you in your enormousness. Not to have you sit in a fucking chair and make me look bigger than you fucking oversized dwarf.
And I know you speak English too, you fuck.
Yeah, so go fucking take a ping pong ball, find Adam Sandler, and shove it straight up your candy ass. That's a shoot. But then, okay, now onto this. Onto this.
With Ric Flair with his mouth wide open and not doing
Well, it's Ric Flair's pick.
He picked The Undertaker as the number 2 pick.
Not a bad pick.
Which he had just lost to him at WrestleMania.
Right, which this is random, but not a bad pick if you're looking at a roster in this as real.
Yeah.
And not just, oh, well, he picked him because of the storyline, because they're feuding in the story. That's a good pick.
Yep.
Undertaker's a great pick.
And you can't pick Austin, so you're going with Undertaker.
I would think Undertaker is a better pick than The Rock.
Yep. And I like this too, where it's like a draft, a real draft. You're showing stats, you're showing, and McMahon being pissed that Flair took Undertaker. Right. That's so good.
Yeah, why they don't do stuff like this anymore?
And Angle being pissed that he wasn't picked number 1.
And look, it's an actual office opposed to a fucking sheet with the logo across, and they say with a red light in the corner.
Yeah.
And now there's a red light. I must be on Raw.
Yep. Such good stuff. And he could be so goofy and still be so badass when he get in the ring.
Oh, he's the best.
I love that shit.
Angle's the shit, man.
I think it's like Jericho 1 and him 1A as far as one of the best of all time, really. You know what I mean? That argument definitely could be made. But for body of work, I don't care if Angle, I don't care what you say about TNA, his body of work in TNA is fucking spectacular.
It is. And I know we've mentioned the Mount Rushmore of wrestling before, and I guess I thought about it a while ago. There's 2 sets of Mount Rushmores, essentially. In my head, there's the Mount Rushmore of who helped build wrestling.
Right.
Or who, not even that, but who do I think is like the tier top guys?
The names you think of for wrestling.
And that's the Macho Man and Ric Flair, but then there's the legit Mount Rushmore of the guys that really, their body of work.
Yep.
And mine would definitely be Jericho, Angle, Ric Flair, and Triple H. Those 4 men to me, throughout the decades, over 100 years between all of them, over 200 years between all of them, just about, in their careers, what they've contributed, the intensity that they have put into this to get the best product out no matter what it was that they were doing. And I'm not saying other people haven't, but Chris Jericho to me is the GOAT. Like, legit. Kurt Angle is like the best true life professional wrestler that has crafted to this sport that there's ever been. I go back to Jericho. Jericho is the best all-around pro wrestler to me. Ric Flair is the best. He's just the best. I don't know how else to categorize that man. The way people envision God, and that's just the way it is. You can't explain it. It is.
Yep.
And then Triple H, not because I'm biased, but I truly think he has, because of what he did in WWF, the Attitude Era, the late 90s, early 2000s, all the way up to now, NXT.
And he was overshadowed by Austin. He was overshadowed by The Rock. But you go back and look at how popular he was with DX. And all the stuff that he did, his body of work speaks for itself.
Right.
And a lot of people go, oh, well, he married Stephanie McMahon. He had a shitload of body of work before he even married Stephanie McMahon.
And if you don't know the story, here's some of it is. That was story before it was reality.
Yep.
Story before reality. 2 people don't know each other. They get on an airplane. By the end of that trip, they get off. And they're boyfriend and girlfriend. Things happen. Things happen, right?
And you have to spend that much time with each other and,
exactly.
Make it look real, yeah.
Who would have ever thought Undertaker and Michelle McCool?
Right.
They didn't share the same locker room, but for Jesus Christ, 10 plus years, they shared the same fucking catering area and backstage areas. You're bound to develop relationships. So like you're saying, if you're that close to people...
And you're going to the same hotels, you're going, so...
And you're being prompted as, like, the biggest storyline, so it's just... Whatever. That's just the way it is. But and then after that, it was after WrestleMania, it goes to WWF Backlash 4/21/02, which he has this music right now. And then in 03, he's got some like weird.
Yeah, I think they lost the rights to it or something, and
Really?
they changed it. Yeah.
And then when
They stopped paying the rights for it.
And then they got it back or something?
Yeah.
Because was this his WCW music or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And when Turner did music, well, like in '96, they started doing their own music, but for a while it was stuff out of the Warner Brothers catalog that they were using.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So WWF didn't want to pay for the. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Because when I was watching the 03 shit, and Booker's on there, and I'm like, what the fuck is this garbage music?
Yep.
And then I went back and started watching this. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, he's got... Must be like an edit issue or something.
Well, like for 02, when Flair came out for a lot of it, they were using the stuff that he used in the early 90s in the WWF
Right.
instead of his
current.
normal music. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. That pay-per-view wasn't that great.
No, it wasn't. It
The
wasn't.
match with Austin and Undertaker was fucking horrible.
For the world.
With Flair as referee, that was a horrible match.
Hogan defeated Triple H to win his last ever... Right? He didn't win one in TNA, no.
No, his last
ever world title, just to drop it like a month later.
And the energy in that match was really good.
That was really good. It's cool, like we've said enough, when you go back and you see this, to see like, wow, Hogan wrestled The Rock at Mania, but that wasn't all he fucking did that year. Motherfucker went on to become a tag team champion with Edge.
On the 4th of July, which was really cool.
You know, I mean, he had a feud with Piper.
Yep.
And shit like
the Mr. America stuff I thought was entertaining as fuck.
So I mean, I feel like The Rock and Hogan gets completely talked about in a way of like that's the only thing that he had done in that year. There was quite a few cool little things he did.
He did the thing with Lesnar where Lesnar had him in the bear hug and he bled from the mouth and left for a long time.
He really bumped up a lot of the roster at that point. Really put that energy up there. Yeah, there wasn't really anything too crazy in that pay-per-view. Up next was Judgment Day, 5/19 of 02. I don't know why I'm...
And that one was one of the first ones right after they transitioned to WWE. That Judgment Day was.
Yes, you're right.
Yep.
You're right. Which that was the thing I noticed when Dave let me borrow the DVDs, that Backlash had the WWE logo on it, so I, knowing that the company switched names or whatever, thought, oh, cool, this will be the first WWE pay-per-view. I don't really think I've ever experienced that. The whole pay-per-view is WWF still. It's just a fucking logo on the DVD.
I think it might have been close enough where they had enough of a lag between when they brought the DVDs out and the pay-per-view.
That's what I'm thinking.
Where they printed the logo on the...
Right, the DVD came out after some settlements or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but even after that in WWE... Judgment Day and so on, up for a couple weeks or months maybe, they still use the WWF logo here and there.
Yep.
The titles still had it on them. You hear Lawler saying it all the time.
Yep.
I did think it was clever when they did the marketing, get the F out.
Yeah.
That shit's very smart.
The little videos they did of them were actually pretty
really
funny.
Cool.
I like this Angle reading his stats and bothering McMahon the whole time.
Trying to get
a pick. I don't understand how you can't be this creative anymore. It boggles my mind.
Yeah, I don't get it either. At that pay-per-view, you had Eddie Guerrero versus RVD for the IC title.
That was a good match.
This was a pretty decent pay-per-view, honestly. I liked the Brock Lesnar versus the Hardy Boys just because I thought that was fun. Steve Austin against Ric Flair and Big Show in a handicap match. I thought that was cool because I've never seen Ric Flair in matches like that. Because when I didn't watch him in the 90s because he was in WCW,
right.
But when I did watch him from 05 to right now, it always was like a classic I don't want to say classic, but it was a Ric Flair match.
Yep.
Seeing him tag team with the Big Show against Austin was so who booked this? Because it's kind of fun.
And that was when Austin wasn't happy either, so...
Right,
it actually was, for what it was a good match.
It was, if I can have fun with a match, even if it's not good, I take that away as something like, okay, there's something to it. Did Vince come out and make his second pick yet? Or is he coming out and make his?
I don't know if McMahon made another one or not.
I don't think we missed it.
Meanwhile, him, as they say in tennis, it's your move next. Up in half of WWF, my second pick is the collective unit of the NWO.
See, that would have been my first pick. Because if you're collectively able to get all three of them, why would that not be the best first pick of all time?
Yep.
You're getting three superstars for the price of one. Which then doesn't make any fucking sense to me, because now I'm really going to get into this. If you... I didn't realize Waltman was with them at this point.
Yeah.
I thought he came in like a little after.
This was right after WrestleMania when Hogan had turned on him and...
So why when they go to the Dudley Boys, it's I choose Bubba?
Yeah.
Wouldn't they be collective? They're the Dudley Boys.
Yep.
I mean, just so they can have Bubba goes on to be Bubba Ray Dudley. His gimmick don't change. But then we get the Reverend Dean on. Oh, my brother, testify!
Deacon Batista. I thought it was a good character for Devon, but they didn't really run with it the way they could have.
No, they didn't give him like a real rival to be a reverend to. Like, I don't know. Undertaker defeated Hulk Hogan to win the WWF championship.
I like that.
Because of fucking Vince McMahon.
Yep.
Piece of shit.
I could watch this shit all day with Angle and Vince McMahon. The dynamic with those two was so good.
Yeah, but it's not about watching, it's about talking. That's what a podcast is. Folks, next episode we're going to do is just going to be all video. There's not going to be any audio to it. You'll have to let us know in the comments what you think.
You know what it reminds me of? The dynamic with McMahon and Mick Foley. When he was Mankind, Mankind was goofy and McMahon was trying to be serious, and you saw the frustration.
Right.
Same with Angle and him.
They had the King of the Ring in 2002, where fucking it was Van Dam and Lesnar came down to the final match, and that would have been... I mean, Van Dam got such a huge fucking push back then.
Yep.
It's unbelievable that it took till 2006 for him to become world champion.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy to me. And then when I was watching all this, it's crazy to think like how many of these guys we've met.
Yeah.
So many.
We've met every single person that's in this segment right now.
I feel like we've met almost every single person that's been prominently featured on this show so far, other than Vince, of course. Well, yeah, I guess The Rock and Undertaker. I didn't meet any of them. It's all the same, though. But King of the Ring, Brock Lesnar.
Yep, pay-per-view debut of Jamie Noble.
Jamie Noble! Still met all of them in that room.
Yep.
But Brock Lesnar goes on to win King of the Ring, cements his legacy.
Gets the title shot against Rock at SummerSlam.
And cements his legacy as not just then, but even now, one of the greatest. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Well, whatever. He is up there as one of the greatest of all times, because if you look at his body of work, not so much his legacy,
yep,
but his body of work, what he's done, it's right up there with the ones that you would call great. So his name should be in that same breath.
Yep. And one thing I wanted to mention, right after, maybe a couple weeks after this thing that we're watching, Orton debuted on SmackDown against Hardcore Holly.
There you go.
You know.
Yep. I mean, it's definitely a revolving door at this point of things to just come, and a lot of things went. I mean, I don't want to say this was the end of the Attitude Era this year, but you could feel those types of guys, the Val Venuses. Sure, they're still there,
but they were still doing like HLA, and they were still doing the edgy stuff, but not to the extreme like they were before.
There was definitely a changing in the guard, whether it was for better or worse. We look back at it now and we think it was for the better. I mean, I enjoyed it. I know you enjoyed it.
Yep.
Chris, I remember getting comic books with that being in the back of it.
Tobacco was wacko.
And it was always a picture of a woman blowing smoke out, and her head was exploding.
Yep.
It was always in the back of my comic books.
And talking about King of the Ring, right around that time was when TNA debuted. Had their first pay-per-view in June, so
very cool.
Very interesting time.
That is very cool.
Yep.
See, when I think of someone like Jazz, I do think of someone like Ivory.
Yeah.
Just I don't really get you, but I don't really get any of them. I don't know. Nice mess.
Yep.
And
she was still really green at this point.
And they really called her running bulldog the Stratisfaction?
Yeah.
They don't call that now.
They did it, and then she started doing the springboard one after, and they kept the name. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing her doing a running bulldog, and they're like, oh, it's a Stratisfaction. She knocked out Jericho does that every fucking match, and he's never won one, ever.
Yep.
Okay.
Wrestling, folks, is a very funny game. It changes so much, and you never know.
Because you don't. You don't fucking know. And if you really don't know, check out Nicole Bass. Because then you're really going to be fucking confused.
And of course, Cena debuted right around that time, too, on SmackDown against Angle.
We've got SummerSlam, like you had mentioned. Or actually, skip Vengeance. The Rock defeated the champion, Kurt Angle. Or The Rock defeated champion, Undertaker, and Kurt Angle in a triple threat match for the World Champion. Now, that's the shit I don't really care for. You have Triple H win the title at Mania. You have him lose it at Backlash. Right? Or no? Did I get that wrong?
And he lost it at Backlash to Hogan.
Right. You have him lose it a month later to Hogan. Then you have Hogan lose it a month later to Undertaker. Then you have Undertaker lose it a month later to fucking... What's his face? The Rock. And then you have The Rock drop it a month later to Brock Lesnar.
No, I think Triple H wrestled Undertaker at King of the Ring, I think, for it. And then Undertaker dropped it at Vengeance afterwards.
Okay, so 2 months.
Right.
But you have, 5 champions in 4 months?
Yeah. Yep. And the only reason they gave it to Hogan was for the nostalgia factor.
You should have kept it on Hogan, right? Okay, have Hogan win it, and then just leave. But this is my thought process of why Triple H nor Undertaker went into SummerSlam the world champion to lose to Lesnar, but The Rock did. Because The Undertaker and Triple H didn't want to fucking drop the title knowing, well, we're still going to be here.
Right.
Rock's leaving. Why not have Rock lose to Lesnar and let Lesnar get over on him and be like, because Rock only stayed not much longer after that.
That's true.
So, I don't know if that's really the facts or not, but that's the most logical thing in an illogical world.
Yep. You see Raven just sitting there with his dreadlocks.
He's like, I'm never
going to
get picked. Is WCW hiring?
Yep.
So then we're into Unforgiven, or actually SummerSlam, like we said, where Lesnar defeats The Rock to get the World Championship, which honestly is one of the better WWE title runs in a while.
Pay-per-view debut of Mysterio against Angle.
Was it his pay-per-view debut?
The unsanctioned match with Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
It was a good pay-per-view.
Shawn's first match in
4 years.
4 years.
Yep. Oh, Vince just picked Hulk Hogan for SmackDown. And they're covering up the Jimi Hendrix music.
See, I guess that's where that's confusing. I know Hogan split after Mania, or NWO, but you're labeling it like he's still in the NWO.
Right. I get that.
Like, they should have, and I even thought this watching it, they should have had him stop coming out to Hendrix music.
Yeah.
And, like, he should have been the red, white, or the red and yellow Hogan. Like, I am a real American.
See, now, I don't know why they don't do this again.
Because women are not sex objects, you fuck!
Well, if you go on all their Instagram pages, all they're doing is taking pictures in fucking bikinis.
Hey.
You know what I mean?
Hey, I got into an argument with bitches because I said fucking OnlyFans is for basically prostitutes. You're pimping yourself out. You women want respect, but then you go on to fucking Instagram and Snapchat and all these other things where you're fucking flaunting your shit. But if a guy looked at you in public and catcalled you, well, he's a fucking misogynistic piece of shit. I'm not saying, you know, you ask for what you get, but you can't be ignorant.
Right.
And that goes into what you're saying. Oh, okay, all these chicks, you know, what's her face? Lana.
Yeah.
Is half naked in every fucking...
Mandy Rose.
Half naked in every picture you see, but yet they gotta cover them up on TV and... yeah.
You can't do the magazines anymore, or, you know, posters
the DVDs.
and stuff. Yeah, yep.
Exactly, because, well, they're not sex objects, they're women now. Alright, well then have them dress in full fucking gear like the men then. Stop having them be able to show cleavage. Treat them as equals. Treat them, it's just, you don't, that's a whole different argument.
I like Van Damme getting picked high up in the standings, though, by Ric Flair. I like that. That's a cool pick for Van Damme to go.
At this time, right, because he was a hot thing.
Yep. I mean, he's one of the only guys that really got over out of that group that came in.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, big time.
Yep.
Big time. Like, you've definitely, and I'll use this comparison, you've said, like, Booker T is the only guy in WCW that's really ever gotten over. Which I've had my argument, Jericho.
Right.
But it's fair to say RVD is the only... People can say Benoit and Guerrero, they're not ECW originals like
Right.
Van Dam.
That's right.
Okay? I consider them ECW originals because they were there at the time when ECW was hot and they contributed. But Van Dam, and you know what I'm trying to say. Van Dam truly is the only ECW guy to ever get over.
I think they could have with Dreamer if they had given him the chance, you know, but...
Because he would have been loyal as fuck
Yeah.
and done it. Absolutely.
Yep.
But, yeah, Van Dam. That's why it's so wild, like, to think he was world champion.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, dude, like, one of our guys did it. Yes, like, Van Dam, an ECW guy, was WWE champion.
And then he went to TNA and had the run with the world title, too,
Yep.
which was great.
It was very cool. I remember watching all that, like, yesterday. It was awesome stuff. We'll get to the end of these pay-per-views and then just kind of get in this, because we are coming up on, it's 3:45. Yeah,
Unforgiven didn't have a lot.
Yeah, I mean...
You saw the start of the feud with Lesnar and Undertaker, which was cool. But...
And they call it the SmackDown champion.
Yep.
Brock Lesnar defeated Undertaker, was no contest. That, like you said, the start of the feud. No Mercy, Undertaker and Lesnar for the championship, and Hell in a Cell, and I can just hear Paul Heyman, "Get up!
Yep.
Get up! You're losing! Get up!"
And you had the Katie Vick storyline going into that with Triple H.
Which, if you don't know what Katie Vick is, we won't ruin that surprise. Look it up, folks.
Yep.
I would say it's good shit, but I'll say it's not bad shit.
Yeah.
That'll keep me out of hot water.
And this was around the time, too, I wanted to mention 3-minute warning started coming around. I really like that stuff.
I wanted you to say that, too, because I really, and I'm glad they just showed Chucky and Billy right here. Because they were that's when 3-minute warning debuted, was during their gay little wedding.
Yep.
Why these guys, I mean, I get they're the current tag team champions, but I don't think they would have been at the top of my list.
Right.
For picks, you could be the champions, but you can also be a pig with lipstick on, baby. And that don't make no difference to me. Why did he have nunchucks?
I don't know. I don't even remember why if they explained that.
Bro, I came in at number 30 and they didn't even use me?
Yeah.
Dude, it's because you had nunchucks and no one knew.
Oh shit, the lugs.
The lugs.
The lug shit. Holy
I knew right here during these commercials when I was a kid, like, not just because it wasn't on just wrestling, but on any channel, that I was white. Because I didn't get it. I was like, they're just fucking shoes. I don't give a fuck. And that's when I realized I was white. So did they try to play like Hogan turning on, like, when he turned on Macho Man? Or was that like a no-brainer that he was coming out there as...
No, it was a no. He was just coming out to help. It was,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That would have been kind of neat if he came out and he's like, "I'm here for my brothers, dude," and then turned on the NWO.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Whoa, wait a minute! See, because when you do this,
He's still coming out to the black and white. Yep.
right, you can still be Hollywood Hogan, but this is the NWO colors, man.
It wasn't too long after this that he went back to the red and yellow.
Yeah, but he was still coming out to Hendrix.
Yeah.
That's straight, like, I don't know. Yeah, wrestling's for fucks. No Mercy. I already said some of it. Did anything else happen then?
No.
That was the Tori Wilson, Dawn Marie stuff. That was garbage.
Yeah.
And then Survivor Series.
Great pay-per-view.
I think it was a really good pay-per-view as well. I am going to read off the matches because they were really good, honestly.
They were really
Jeff Hardy, Bubba Ray, and Spike Dudley defeated Rico, Rosie, Jamal in a tag team table elimination match with the help from Devon. I was on the edge of my seat this entire match.
Yep.
This was high-octane, fun story, great ending, why I love wrestling.
Yep.
That match truly, an opening that sets the bar for the rest of that show, that has an ending that raised the bar that much higher.
You could watch that and see that they did not do with 3-minute warning what they could have.
That's
you
true.
showed a lot. They showed a lot in that match.
I really think,
what
though,
they were capable of.
shows that are held in Madison Square Garden get the best care.
Oh yeah.
And the best love.
Yep.
Because this whole card, top to bottom. I mean, the order of elimination, and it's kind of detailed, and it's fun to read. Rosie and Jamal eliminated Spike with a face-first double wheelbarrow suplex,
Yep.
which was sweet. Jeff eliminated Rosie with a swanton bomb off the bleachers into the crowd, which was badass. Jamal eliminated Jeff with a big splash from the top turnbuckle to the floor. And Bubba Ray eliminated Jamal with a power bomb. Bubba Ray and Devon eliminated Rico with the 3D. And now why that's so cool is because since March up to September, or
that was in November.
November,
Yep.
Jesus Christ. For that many months, these two guys have been split, and I'm a Dudley Boys fan, and if I watched during this time, I'd have been probably irritated that whole time.
And it was revealed that Devon coming back was part of the trade for SmackDown to get Big Show.
Right.
So.
And it's just cheesy, but it was really cool, right, when he came back to be a Dudley Boy and to see the 3D, so that was really fucking cool. Billy Kidman defeated Jamie Noble to win the Cruiserweight Championship, which I'm not invested in either one of them, but that was a fun match.
Billy Kidman debuted that music that never fit his character
Yeah,
whatsoever.
it was so
the
weird.
rap music.
It was so weird.
I always said that music would fit Shelton Benjamin more than
Me
it
too,
would
right.
fit-
We've
would
had
fit
that
Billy
conversation.
Kidman.
Victoria, this was an awesome match.
Yeah.
Go back and watch this match. Victoria defeated Trish Stratus to win her first ever championship match in a hardcore match. It was awesome.
Back when I was doing the Deadly Dozen back in the day, that was
You
one
should
of my
do
picks.
those again.
Yeah.
That was a really great match. There was something I wanted to say about it. Why they started treating Victoria differently, like a cartoon character after a while, I don't understand. Because she was a straight up fucking badass
She
like
was.
that.
Yep.
Where did I leave off?
Victoria.
The Big Show defeated Brock Lesnar to win the SmackDown title, which was so cool.
Yep.
Because, I mean, it's Survivor Series. Of course, there needs to be a big fucking twist of a turn or whatever you want to call it. But Paul Heyman ripping the referee out of the ring, screwing his client, Brock Lesnar out of the title so Big Show can win it.
And Lesnar legit had a broken rib during that match, and the stuff that he did with the chairs
There you
and stuff,
go.
and he still did all that. So
There you go. It's a testament.
Yep.
On screen right now, we're watching Hogan versus who was Hogan tagging?
Hogan and The Rock against the NWO.
And this was on Monday Night Raw.
Yep.
This is a big match.
Yeah.
This was a big match. Okay.
And Nash had just come back from his torn bicep too. I think this was his first match back after the torn
That's
bicep.
cool. At the bottom, they have the ticker to let you see who's been picked for
And
where.
yeah, and they wouldn't do cool stuff like this now, you know?
No, because it would be tweeting and touts or whatever. But on that same card, you had Eddie and Chavo defeated the champions Rey Mysterio Jr. and Edge and Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit in a triple threat tag team elimination match for the SmackDown tag team titles. I think that was Eddie and Chavo's first tag team titles.
Yep.
As well as Shawn Michaels. Or wait a minute. Yes. Which brings us to the last match of the pay-per-view. It's a badass match. It's not so much anymore. It's very watered down. But the Elimination Chamber.
First elimination
First
chamber.
ever Elimination Chamber, and if Eric Bischoff doesn't go in the Hall of Fame for anything. It should at least be for the fucking idea. If he truly is the creator of this Elimination Chamber match, because it's one of the coolest fucking ideas I've ever witnessed. I've never got to see it live, but I mean I've witnessed pay-per-view wise or whatever. Because you had, you had Shawn Michaels, Kane, Booker T, Chris Jericho, Rob Van Dam, and Triple H in the first ever Elimination Chamber match for the World Heavyweight title, which Triple H was?
Triple H was the champion going in, yeah.
Because this was at the time, yes, that's what happened. This was at that time, because there was the two titles, because it used to be unified, and then, for I don't know what the storyline was, Eric Bischoff, if I'm correct, brought back the World's Heavyweight title.
Because Stephanie had signed Lesnar exclusive to SmackDown.
So they needed their own title now.
Yep.
So he brought back the WCW, they didn't call it that, but that's really what it was.
Yep.
World's Championship, and, for lack of better words, handed it over to Triple H.
Yep.
And declared him the new world title, or world champion. So this match was not to declare who was that world champion, it was to declare a champion. Like, Triple H was the champion going in. So it wasn't a vacant title match, that's what I'm trying to say. That would have been easier to say. Very awesome match. Even to now standards, it's a very good match.
Triple H finished the match with a crushed trachea after Van Dam landed on his throat.
Just from the top of one of the pods.
Yep.
It's kind of got some detail to it. Shawn Michaels, we'll skip right to the end, spoiler alert, defeats everybody essentially, but defeats champion Triple H, Chris Jericho, Kane, Booker T, and Van Dam in an Elimination Chamber match to win the World's Heavyweight Championship. His last ever World's Championship title run. Which, again, we've said this before, probably on camera and off camera. If you're gonna fucking do that, dude, if you're gonna win the title and you know that, dude, what the fuck is with your hair and those brown fucking shit-covered fucking colored...
Right. If you knew that your tights weren't gonna be done in time, wear some of your old fucking tights.
Wear what you wore during your street fight match with Triple H.
At least the jeans would have looked better with those boots, you know.
Brown and then you cut your hair way down here like a little fucking girl. You look stupid.
Yep.
How do I want to look for when I win my last world title match? Shit, I don't know. Why don't you strap my ball sack to my forehead? Because that'll get over.
Is that an IWA Deep South match? You know, stapling your balls to your forehead?
You know why they don't book shit like that? Because it's not real. Wrestling is not real. That was my fucking corner. Why is Kane out here?
It's his return.
Oh my god, because if it ever made sense to have him return, it was against that fucking NWO. Who booked this shit? See, now I can... Get off of it. But, in order of elimination, Booker T pinned Rob Van Dam after a missile drop kick. Jericho pinned Booker after Kane chokeslammed him on a line, and then used a lion salt for the pin. Jericho pinned Kane after Shawn Michaels super kicked him. Triple H pedigreed and... Oh, I see. Jericho pinned Kane after Shawn Michaels super kicked him. And then Triple H gave him a pedigree. Jericho pinned him with a lion salt.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels pinned Jericho after a super kick. And then Shawn Michaels pinned Triple H for the win. Garbage. That probably is the best pay-per-view of that year.
Yeah. Top to bottom.
No, it's not bad. Now, the rest of them aren't bad, but right, like the way you just said it. Top to bottom. You cannot be disappointed with that card. It was a lot of fun. That was a great pay-per-view. And then you get into...
I should watch that one later today, because I haven't watched it.
Then you get into Armageddon, which I thought was awful.
Yeah, it was bad.
I was like, what are you doing? This is a
That Dawn Marie Tori Wilson shit went way too long.
I just thought it was bad. We'll do the rundown real quick of it. In your pay-per-view match, or in your heat match, it was Jeff Hardy defeated D'Lo Brown, holding the tights for leverage, because, you know, that's just what Hardys do. But it was a fatal four-way elimination match for the Raw Tag Team titles. Booker T and Goldust defeated Jericho, Christian, and the Dudley Boys with William Regal and Lance Storm to get their first ever tag team title, which that's cool, because that was a fun story.
Yep.
With those guys as a tag team. Edge defeated A-Train, which, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Chris Benoit defeated Guerrero by submission, which I'm going to say who gives a fuck only because if you've ever seen them do that in ECW, you're not seeing nothing new.
Yep.
And you're probably not seeing it a better version. You probably should see the ECW versions. I'm going to say that right now. Go back, Google Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, and Eddie Guerrero ECW. Yep. Watch any of their matches, because I bet they're all great. I've seen a handful of them, and I just know they're pretty damn fun. Batista upset Kane with help from Ric Flair. I don't know if that was a match or not. It just says he upset him. Probably called him a big dumb retard.
I fucked Katie Vick first.
Women's champion Victoria defeated Trish Stratus and Jacqueline in a triple threat match. Meh. Not a great match. Kurt Angle defeated the Big Show to win the SmackDown title after Brock Lesnar. Meh. Still not a great match. It's really only setting up the events for WrestleMania 19, honestly. Yep. And Triple H defeated Shawn Michaels in a 2 out of 3 falls count match. Another that was not a great.
Yep.
The first fall, Triple H pinned Shawn Michaels in a street fight after a pedigree, which doesn't make sense why you would have a street fight when you had a no sanction match or whatever it was like 4 months prior.
Yep.
Doesn't make sense. Second fall, Shawn Michaels pinned Triple H in a steel cage match after a splash. Still doesn't make sense. You guys were just in a elimination chamber match. So what is there left to prove between man and metal? Which went to a third fall, which had Triple H retrieve the title from the ladder. Which, to me, that's the only interesting part because I've never really seen Triple H in a ladder match up to that point, maybe twice.
Right. I think if you were going to do a spectacle match, you should have done like a 30-minute Iron Man match between the two.
Well, that's what I'm going to say, yes. If you're going to do... I'm all for 3 stages of hell,
right,
or 2 out of 3, whatever you want to call it. Whatever your generation calls it. I really do sound like Cornette. Not like voice-wise, but the way I talk.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But, do a 2 out of 3s. Your first match, it's a regular match. Pin or submission. There's nothing to it other than who's the best man in that match. Then your second match could be falls count anywhere. Now
it's a little different than the street fight.
Right, it's not labeled such street fight. Falls count anywhere. You could go anywhere now. And then your third match, 30-minute, not even a 30-minute Iron Man match. Last man standing.
Right.
Because now through everything you just went through, your body should be worn out as fuck between the two of you. So who really could be the last man standing?
And if this is going to be the blow-off of your feud, that a last man standing is the way to go.
Right.
You know? Yep.
But yeah, even then, if you're not going to do a 2 out of 3s, do a 30-minute Iron Man match. Yep. What other types of matches could you do that are the end-all, be-all? Because to me, a ladder match, that's enticing something more.
And you didn't really play it up that that's Shawn Michaels' specialty either.
Not anymore. Not up to that point anyways. Right. Yep. You were just going for, in my opinion, Shawn, you can do it. We can do this type of match. Let's just do it.
Yep.
Let's have you take a huge bump out of the ring, through tables, just to show that you can still do it.
Yep.
I feel like that's what it is. Because, again, he wins the championship for a month?
Yeah.
What's the point? Like, give that win. If you're going to do that, right? If you're going to do that, this is how I would have booked the Elimination Chamber. Rob Van Dam, you're going to win it. No one's going to see that coming. Where can we go with that? Well, here's a great idea. Because people want Shawn Michaels and Triple H, right? All right, you're going to win the title. So at Armageddon, it's going to be you and Triple H for the World Championship match. Well, Shawn Michaels isn't done yet. So Shawn Michaels is intervening. He keeps putting himself in there. So now Shawn Michaels, it's just a regular match at Armageddon for Triple H and for RVD. And then have Shawn Michaels come into it at that point, fuck RVD out of the title, Not intentionally, because the title's the thing that matters the most, but he super kicks RVD. Before he can go super kick Triple H, boom, Ric Flair's right there now. Fucking Shawn Michaels over. Triple H just goes for the pin, right?
Yeah.
Now you've got Shawn Michaels and Triple H. It's grudge versus grudge. The title is just there. Like what they should have done with Rock and Cena. If the title was there, then fine. The title didn't need to be there.
Yep.
You forcibly added that. I would have done that. Give RVD his first run as a champ for 1 month, because he's going to lose it anyways. Let him win the Elimination Chamber, so now he not only has two things of like, shit, he won the Chamber and he's world champion, instead of someone like Michaels who's already got that credibility that's just going to drop it anyways to Triple H, somebody that's already over.
Yep.
Build a superstar instead of just running with what you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong, and maybe that didn't even make sense.
But even if you didn't want to fuck RVD out of the title, he fucks Triple H out of the title. That gives Triple H even more reason to want to get back to Michaels.
Right. Then you can do a triple threat. Right. Say RVD wins Armageddon. Going into Royal Rumble. Now it's a triple threat match.
Yep. Right?
RVD loses.
You have Flair fuck him out of it.
And RVD loses the World Championship in Mania, or not in Mania, I'm sorry. In that triple threat match to Triple H or Shawn Michaels, I don't care who it is. So, why wouldn't RVD now want to be part of the Royal Rumble?
Yep.
Give him more story to play on. Well, okay. Well, he's going to go into WrestleMania 19 feuding with fucking... Was it 19? Am I getting them mixed up?
19 was 2003, yeah.
Who did RVD face at 19?
I think he was in a tag match. I don't even think he was...
See, you could have had him, because he's never lost at a Mania. RVD's never lost at a Mania. Eat your heart out, Taker. RVD's the only one with a clean record of like 6-0. It's true. That's a fact, Jack. Look it up. RVD is undefeated at Mania. But yeah, I don't know. You could have just run with it. And like I said, build a superstar with even a month.
Yep. See, it was just McMahon doing it out of spite.
But it still didn't make sense of Ric Flair picking I'll just take Bubba.
Right.
Or no, Ric Flair didn't say it like that, did he?
I don't remember. I don't know. I really don't remember.
Because I go with what you're saying. Vince McMahon saying it out of spite, as in like, okay, you want to pick Bubba?
Well, why would he just pick Bubba?
Yeah.
Yep. Because I mean, you pick the whole NWO. Why can't, like you said, why can't you pick a whole tag?
Right, like that's like I picked Farouk. Well, JBL's coming with him. No, they're a tag team. I didn't want the tag team.
Right.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Because like that, he only has tag team stats. Just get the fuck out. But that wraps it up for, the review of the pay-per-views, I guess.
Pay-per-view wise, I don't think it was a great year, but all in all, product wise, I think it was a great
year. It was a really good year too. I had a lot of fun going back and rewatching all of them.
I mean, you even had Bischoff debut. Stephanie became the other general manager. Shit like that. And the interaction with them at the pay-per-views
was really good stuff.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, I was laughing my ass off during the 3-minute warning shit when Rikishi came out dressed as the woman.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was laughing my fucking ass off at that, because it's like, that's a grown-ass man doing this in front of people.
Yep.
How do you not just love that type of no-give-a-shit energy or vibe or whatever? Like, that's... I mean, this guy, he really did. Rikishi really, made a fool of himself a lot. Or allowing himself to be so vulnerable. I'll say it like that.
Right.
Making his ass his gimmick.
Right. But he was memorable. He made himself memorable.
But what I was saying is, he did so much without really receiving anything for it. Like, he never really won it. Did he ever win?
Oh, Lesnar beating the shit out of Rikishi.
That was supposed to happen?
Yeah. Well, no, he just came in and
that seemed like that was completely...
He was supposed to...
edited horribly.
Yeah.
I had no idea that was about to happen.
They built Lesnar so well.
But you see what I was saying, though?
Yeah,
the way it cut away, I was like, wait, is this a different match? So is Regal just going to come down and get the win?
I don't know.
If I ever saw a sexual predator, right there. Paul Heyman looking like a fucking freak.
But for being, as green as he was, they built him so well.
Would you have thought in 2002 when that happened, right? Not that specific moment, but seeing Lesnar with his hand up with Heyman, would you think that in 2020
they'd still be doing it?
They'd still be doing that?
Yeah.
18 years later. Look at that bad bitch. Look at her. She's a bad bitch.
Yep. I mean, I'm not saying she was bad what she did. Just the look didn't seem like the kind of girl they would have brought in at that point.
No, I know.
You had Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler and Trish Stratus.
Well, they didn't. I guess I see what you're saying there.
But work-wise, yeah. When you're trying to build up the
she was
division.
there before they were. Jazz has been around since, 2001? 2000?
They brought her in at Survivor Series 2001.
Okay.
So the other ones were there before her.
Okay, but in that regard, Tori Wilson, Stacy Keibler, they were the eye candy. You still had people like Ivory that were muscular and wrestlers and stuff. I mean, yeah, she's not that typical cookie-cutter diva, but she was definitely, if she was around when China was still active, I don't think you'd have that.
Yeah.
That concept. But I think just comparing them to the eye candy, because Victoria. This is when Victoria, for whatever reason, or no, I'm thinking of Victoria from the Rumble I just watched earlier. Holy shit! From the Rumble I watched earlier was 2006, where she's not a badass anymore. She's a diva.
Yep.
And that's where I would, if Jazz came in at that point, I would think that. I would think the same thing of well, she doesn't really fit the bill. But I guess at this point, I still have that mindset of no, women were got a badass still. They fuck your day up. But when you say Tori Wilson and Keibler and them, of course it's
right.
Right, of course.
I like this too, where McMahon tried to come out and steal a pick when it was actually Ric Flair's turn.
I think they should have been out there together the whole night on different podiums, back and forth, arguing like political figures. But is there any? Yeah, Bischoff coming in. That's the stuff on the pay-per-views that sucks. I wish they would have episodes on DVDs, because I want to see the reactions of people.
I'm surprised they've never done seasons of Raw and SmackDown and stuff.
A Bischoff DVD would be fucking awesome.
They did a Bischoff DVD.
Did they?
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
Yep, I have it. I'll have to let you borrow.
What the hell was it called? I can think of his book, The Controversy Creates Cash.
Yeah, I don't remember what the title of it was, but
they did a Bischoff DVD?
Yeah. Yep. A few years ago.
Maybe I do know that, but I just don't remember that.
Yep. But yeah, they don't go through a lot of that they could.
No, and especially even at that point when they're putting them on DVDs, they're putting in a good amount of extras on there.
Yep.
Post-match, pre-matches. Give me the full story without the snippets that you guys do for the vintage or vignette packages and shit. I appreciate all that, but look at Boss Man.
Can't say that today. Nope. Flair's last pick, he chose a woman.
The only reason why you chose a woman is because you are a lascivious kid. And there's no doubt in my mind right now that you're going to turn WWE into a sex.
I'm pretty sure Eddie Guerrero, when he brings in that septic tank, he makes the goddamn show a cesspool. But come on, you watched it in 2001. What else happened? Anything else interesting?
In 2002?
Or 2002?
Other than debuts like Orton and Cena, and they really were just bringing in. They were just bringing in people to beef up the roster, and really, it was like a reset. And they bought WCW, and they really just needed to reset everything.
And to piggyback off of that into modern times, because that's a great point. That reset, they do that now, so to speak. Like when NXT became the brand and not the Tough Enough, essentially, product, they were bringing in the guys to the NXT and then slowly bringing them up to the rosters. And then unfortunately, there was a complete fucking overhaul of guys that Vince just wanted to have without rhyme or reason, bought the market, and then flooded it.
Yep.
I mean, and that's where the loss of these guys aren't. They're stars, but they don't have that longevity.
Yeah. And like they before they were bringing NXT guys up at the Raw after WrestleMania to make an impact. Now they're just doing it to fucking do it.
And there's no rhyme or reason for it.
Yeah.
And I really think there's an issue with the Vince basically being a monopoly, buying everybody out because you have too many guys you can't do anything with, and then the guys that, I don't even want to say it like that because that could be just misconstrued, but when you have too many of anything, you don't see what you truly have.
Yep.
Things get blocked out and blurred. Like, what's his face? Finn Balor was on track to be the next big fucking star. There's no other way of saying it. Yes, he got injured, and then all these fucking other guys, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, all these other guys just fucking flooded in. And what happened to him? He got pushed to the wayside. Vince didn't see anything to do with him anymore.
Yep.
And I don't think that has anything to do with his work. I don't think that has anything to do with him getting injured. It was just the fact of, say if they didn't give Austin the opportunity to stay on TV, he'd have been old news within a week.
Yep. The injury gave McMahon a reason to bury it. Yep.
And I'm not saying use Finn Balor's injury and blah, blah, blah. It's the idea of these guys aren't given the opportunity to be that people... Like, I don't think ever in my life I will hear anybody say, maybe I'm wrong, what's your Mount Rushmore? You know, we all say basically the same thing. I'll hear somebody say Seth Rollins. I don't even know, but you know where I'm going.
Yeah.
No, it's like, okay, I mean, I see that's cool, you appreciate it, but like, I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. It's weird.
Yeah.
Because these guys, with 3 hours of Monday Night Raw, you still don't get to see enough. And I don't want to say it like that because I don't want 4 hours. But with 3 hours, it's enough, but it's not enough.
I mean, this was 2 hours, and they were packing so much good stuff into it all at once.
Exactly.
You know?
Think of SmackDown, right? When they first got the Cruiserweight division, or they first labeled it that. I don't want to specifically say why did it get so over. I think the Cruiserweight division, when I first started watching wrestling game, was awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, let's treat it like weight classes. I mean, you've never really come out and said a world heavyweight. You call it the world heavyweight champion, but you never really have ever distinguished that there was a weight class to it.
Yep.
Now that you're differencing that, like, that's cool. It gave so many guys on SmackDown an opportunity to be seen.
Yep. And you could still have the guys that were kind of that weight, you know, that you would think that wouldn't be in that division. Yeah.
Like a Matt Hardy, how he would do it.
Yeah.
But then, here you are, let's say 15 years later, whatever it is, you come up with 205 Live and you make it its own show. No one's going to watch that.
And especially when Rollins is doing dives, Ambrose is doing dives, you know, Reigns is diving over the fucking top rope.
Finn Balor.
Yeah, you know, it has no impact anymore.
None.
You know?
That's why I know there was, I'm sure you saw it, Joey Nese. Is that his name?
Tony Nese.
Tony Nese. This was like a few years ago. Tweeted out at a fan that he like yelled at or something like that at a show, at a 205 Live show. Oh, he picked Chris Benoit for his third pick.
Yep.
How did we miss that?
He might have done it in the back, you know, instead of at the podium.
But he yells at this guy saying, "Get off your fucking phone" at a wrestling show. And all I could think of when I was reading that was like, I saw it on Monday Night Raw. Like, and that's another issue with like the independent wrestling. You've now allowed that to become the mainstream.
Yep.
wrestling, which isn't a problem, I guess, but it takes the flair away from anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But we've still got like another half an hour in the show because we've got the triple threat with Stephanie, Chris Jericho, and Triple H for the world title.
Yeah, it's going on 4:30 now.
Yeah. But in that match, Triple H ends up pinning Stephanie, and Stephanie has to leave.
I mean, if it's only a half hour, it's not a big deal if we miss it or don't miss it. But I'm just thinking we could probably squeeze this into the next episode of either one of the shows that we do just to follow up on it. I don't mind that at all.
Okay.
I mean, I really, really don't.
All right.
I do. We will finish it though till. Oh. Never mind. I was gonna say we'll finish it till the fucking end of the match, but. You know, we've said this before, and I'm gonna say it again because there's Tim White right there. Referees need to get acknowledged and be put in the Hall of Fame. If people want the Hall of Fame to be a legitimate thing and not just like, oh, well, who's hot today and who doesn't have issues with Vince, put the fucking referees in.
Because you can't have the match without them.
And,
you know,
from, Jesus, you might have to fill in the blanks, but from when I can remember being a kid all the way up till, I don't know, a handful of years ago, wherever, you know, that line is, every fucking referee had a name. They had a character just about. You knew a little bit about him, like, oh shit, this is the guy that screwed him over, so like that's why he's in this match. There was a story behind each ref, almost.
And they referee different.
Right.
Now they must get trained by the same person because they all ref
the
same.
They all the same. I totally agree. Like I could, you and me both can name every fucking referee in that ring right now.
Yep.
Could you do that now?
No. I even remember Mike Sparks, for God's sakes, you know, and Chad Patton.
Yep. Teddy Long.
Nick Patrick.
Dave, was that Dave?
No, Earl Hebner, Brian Hebner.
Oh, the guy right there in the back.
Yep.
Yeah. Teddy. I probably said his name already.
Yep.
I get so excited.
Yeah. Now AEW is kind of doing it with Aubrey Edwards and Rick Knox and them.
Right. TNA did it.
Yep.
Slick Wagner. Hey! What the fuck was it? Slick Johnson.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Slick Johnson.
And you had Earl.
Am I really just getting that right now? Slick Johnson. Sheesh. But, oh my gosh, he's sexy. But yeah, we can end that now.
Alright. Fucking Michael Cole with his frosted tips.
Him and fucking Josh Matthews can go suck cock together. I watched a lot of clips of like Josh Matthews in TNA being like a heel and stuff. What an annoying motherfucker he is.
Yeah.
One of those guys that thinks, wow, I used to get bullied a lot, pushed around in WWE. Now look at me, I'm my own fucking star now. You can almost see that in him, the way he just carries himself. Like, nobody gives a fuck about you.
Yep.
Nobody gave a fuck about you when you were in WWE. You fucking fucker. But on that note, what do I gotta do?
You said about 4:30 we gotta shut it down, so.
Aren't you the one that's gotta pause us?
But thanks everybody for joining us once again on the Wrestling Ring on the Comic Wrestling Podcast.
Yeah. This was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching the O2 pay-per-views. Hey, I finally got it right. Didn't say 04 or 01. But the O2 pay-per-views...
There's a lot to go on, too.
There is, but you didn't bring anything to the table, Dave. I just can't. What do you guys got going on over here? Huh? Oh, French fries and burgers? We will probably do the 01 review. I feel like I've watched most of it, but I don't recall any of it, except for the invasion.
Yeah.
But yeah, on that note, I enjoyed this.
Yeah, it was good.
The next episode of the Comic Shop will be movie talk. I know there was a specific topic, but I can't recall it right now. We're going to be talking about the new Scooby-Doo movie, because I watched that with my kid. I got a couple new movies I want to do reviews of. We're going to watch the Captain America 1990s version. Hopefully it's better. I think it is. And who knows what else might happen.
So I guess 2001 will be the next one we do for the wrestling ring. So
if that's what you want to do,
that'll work.
That would work for me.
All right. So check us out on YouTube, Anchor, Breaker,
Spotify, iTunes,
Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We're fucking everywhere.
Right. And if you're having a hard time finding us, look up my fucking Facebook. Look up his fucking Facebook. Go to YouTube. Put into the search engine. Comic Wrestling Podcast.
It's not like we never say the fucking name of the podcast.
Go to Facebook itself. Look into the search browser of Comic Wrestling Podcast. I must have had 2 or 3 people within the last week see videos, the ones you and I made and the one I made, say, bro, I like the videos, I like the podcast, but where can I find it? And I say, dude, did you even watch? Because I don't think you did. But thanks for viewing. Thanks for checking us out. We really do hope everybody keeps liking it.
Yeah, thank you very much.